Okay, so I received a question from one of our students about attending an event that is in DC, and they have an opportunity to be set up to do some matchmaking, and they are pretty new to the government contracting space and wanted to know if attending the conference, if it's too early in their journey to attend the conference. I'm sorry, I'm looking over here at the question. And yeah, if it's beneficial and a good use of time, okay? And this is it's like the 32nd annual government procurement conference, and it is in DC. Okay, so first thing I'm going to say about the conferences and these things that you can attend. First of all, these events happen all the time, okay? I'm not going to tell you whether to attend or not, but I am going to give you some things to help you know whether or not you should spend your time, whether or not it's a good investment of your time, okay? And please excuse this work. This is what we're doing. We got like piles of stuff, okay? But no personal information is out, so I think we're good. And so here's what I would say to you and anyone else that may be in that situation. First, those events happen all the time, so don't even worry about the FOMO syndrome, which a lot of small businesses have, which is fear of missing out. There's always an opportunity to do those kind of events. If it's not the 32nd annual, it's going to be the 55th annual or the 14th annual, or it's going to be a SBDC event or a PTech event. They're pretty much all very, very similar, especially the DC events. A lot of them are very similar, okay? That's one. But here's the other thing. You want to find out who's going to be at the event. Do your research. Who's going to be there? While matchmaking sounds great, we're going to make sure you get in front of buyers, and we're going to make sure that you have an opportunity to tell a buyer what you've done and bring your capability statement and all those things. Well, that's great, but ahead of making that time investment, you should find out who's going to be there, what agencies. Matchmaking is great, but if I'm sitting talking to somebody who only buys construction and I'm a neuroscience person looking for, I don't know, temporary staffing for a lab at NIH, like, I don't know, I'm literally off the top of my head. If it don't match where I am, it may not make sense. Now, I can see opportunity everywhere. So talking to anybody presents opportunity for me. But for you, you want to know, one, who's going to be there, what agencies are going to be represented there, and then who from that agency is going to be there. Because they'll tell you that all these agencies and all these buyers are going to be there, and it's not always a buyer. Sometimes it's the person that just goes back and delivers the sign-in sheet with your name and your email address, and you're not even talking to someone who is a decision maker. So you want to know who's going to be there. After you find out what agency is going to be there, you have time to do your research. Go to that agency, small business specialist, right? So that agency's OSDBU office, OSDBU, Office of Small Disadvantaged Business Utilization, right? Go to that agency's specific OSDBU office, right? Because every agency has an OSDBU office. So go to their OSDBU office, and then you want to introduce yourself over the phone, over email prior to the event, and let them know what it is that you do. And then you want to do your research, USA Spending, FPDS, something, and you want to see how much that agency spends on what it is that you offer. So if you're a janitorial company, right, you can gather enough information to determine whether or not there are really opportunities for you at that agency. You might start doing your research or looking on their forecast, and you'll discover that that agency does buy lots of janitorial, but all of it is 8A. And if it, or most of it is 8A, and if it's not 8A, it's like service disabled, veteran owned, and you are neither of those, right? And so you have to decide, is this really worth my time? Should I be looking somewhere else? Because I see that they buy, but they don't buy, it's mostly 8A sole source stuff that I don't qualify for. So those are the kinds of things you want to do ahead of time. Is this helpful? These are things you want to do ahead of time so that you can make a determination whether or not like the event's going to be good for you. Okay. If you're brand spanking new or seasoned, it's an investment of your time. You could go and just see how these events work, right? And make it worth your while by doing some early investigation and getting there. And maybe it's not the agencies that you need to meet. Maybe it's one of the companies that's going to present, where you might find opportunity with one of the prime contractors. And so all in all, you want to know what the agency buys. It doesn't matter if it's matchmaking. Matchmaking is only fun when you are matched with a maker. I don't know, I'm making this stuff up. Do you understand what I'm saying? It only makes sense if it makes sense. And make it make sense before you spend your time and your money and your resources. And that's it. Just know your objective. And if you're going to check it out and see what it is, go check it out and see what it is. If you're going to look for opportunity, make sure opportunity is there. If you're going to network, and then find out who's going to be there and what kind of networking opportunities are available to you. And that's how I would make the decision. But don't get caught up in that FOMO, okay? Because those kinds of matchmaking, government contracting, procurement, do business with this agency events come up very, very often. One of the things we discuss in my program is about identifying your 5. And I have you start first with the agencies that are near you, okay? So if you live near an Air Force base, if you live near a Marine, a Veterans Administration place, or a VA hospital or something like that, I have the Army Corps of Engineers locally, right? I have you start with who's in your backyard, places where you can show up all the time and they can get to know you and see you and say, oh my God, I see you. I see you at everything. Tell me more about what you do. Like that stuff still works. Okay. Even in this advanced technology world we live in, those kinds of things, showing up, knocking on doors when they're actually there. I know a lot of them work from home right now, but you understand the principle is the same. Boom, go get it. I pray that that was helpful to you. Okay. So I hope I answered that question. Should I attend this government event or not? I didn't say yes or no. I said, do your research, you make the decision, decide on what your goal is, and there it is. Okay, I'm going to start recording.